In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually get shaders in Minecraft. Now, as you can see, I already have shaders on this world, and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to add them to your world as well. Now, this is for every single version, and this is also going to be on Optifine. So make sure you watch my video to actually install Optifine if you don't have it already. But yes, this is for any Optifine version, but obviously you can use the same kind of tutorial for any other version that may not be Optifine. But what you're first going to want to do is find the shaders. Now this can be any type of shaders, and you most likely want shaders for the newest update or the update that you are actually going to use it on. So if you're going to 1.8.9, then you want shaders for 1.8.9. If you're going to 1.18, you want shaders for 1.18. Just to make it work best, and to make sure that all the items or blocks have shaders on them. But anyways, let's get into it. Now, starting off, find the shader pack. Now, obviously, do not go onto sketchy websites to just find a shader pack, because if you download it, it may be a virus. So go on trusted shader pack sites, use ones that are most popular and that most people actually trust. Now, for this example, I'm going to be doing Seuss shaders, and I'm just going to be doing the test for the RTX Seuss shaders. So, as you can see, I am on a website that has shaders on it, and the download is down here. Now, this will look different for any website that you go on, since all of the shader websites are a little bit different. But just make sure that you're clicking on the right download, because some websites actually have fake downloads that are just really ads that just want you to click them. So make sure that you're downloading the right one. As you can see, this is the newest one because it's 2.1, and I am going to click on it. And as you can see, a little file pops up in the bottom left corner. Now we just wait for it. As you can see, it is fully installed, and now that we got the zip, we are ready to move on to the next step. Now secondly, if you're on Windows, just open up the Windows search bar, or just go to %appdata and then %. And it is spelled just like that. As you can see, %appdata %. Then you're just going to want to open it up. Once you have actually opened up, the first thing that you should see is .minecraft. And then you're just going to want to open that file up as well. Now once you're actually on here, you're just going to go into the shader packs folder. So as you can see, if you scroll down enough, you will see shader pack. And then what you're going to want to do is move the shader pack into there. So obviously, just grab it from the download section of your folders, or from down here where it actually pops up. And as you can see, you just leave it just like that. Now, another way to actually get to this shader packs folder is from in-game. So once you have Optifine installed in-game, you can just click on escape, then go to your options, then you want to go to video settings, then click on the shaders button, which is down here, and then you can go all the way down to the bottom corner and click on shaders folder. Now as you can see, if you click that, it will just take you to the shader pack folder, which is really easy. But immediately when you put it actually in the shader pack folder, it will be there. As you can see, there is shaders right over there. As you can see, I go to options, video settings, shaders, and Seuss PTGIHRR test 2.1 is there. And when we click on it, it will take a little bit to load. It'll take normally around 10 seconds, depending on how fast your PC can actually process it. But once it actually does load the shaders, you can press done, and as you can see, there are the shaders on. Now as you can see, it's different than the shaders I already had on. So every shader is different, and some may look better to you than others. And as you can see, the new shaders are really cool, and they can go underwater and experience all of it. Now, what you can actually do is edit the shader settings, and I'll be going through the ones that you probably would want to change or work around. But I'll just do this really quick. So first of all, there is all of these. You can change the render quality to be better, and as you can see, it controls the size of the texture, and you can actually make it better. So what you can do is up the render quality just by clicking on it. Now once you click on it and get to 2x, you can actually lower it down to 0.5. Now it may take a second to load in all of these, since it has to load in every single chain. But obviously the more you do it, the better it will be, but obviously it gets you slower frames per second, and performance. So make sure that you're doing this with the knowledge that you actually be able to perform and run this. You can also advance the shadow quality and hand depth quality, and those are pretty important. Also, anti-analyzing, you can actually turn that on as well. It just smooths jagged lines and sharp color transitions. I would recommend turning this on if you can actually run it, but obviously if you can't, then you don't have to. I just think it looks really smooth, smoothing the transitions. But if you want more options, there are more options in the bottom right corner. As you can see, there's lighting and shadow options. Some will actually have ray tracing options depending on which ones you actually get. As you can see for this, there are some ray tracing options since I have it. So I can just turn this on, I can turn this on as well. But obviously the more stuff I turn on and higher, it will actually reduce the amount of performance I'm getting. But I'll move past this for a little bit since most people do not have the RTX ones on. But as you can see, you can upgrade your texture resolution to actually be much better by just clicking on this. And obviously if you click on it enough, it will go back down below the original number. You can also change stuff like water, surface options, post-processing settings, atmospheric options, and utility. Now this all depends on which shaders you are actually using, but as you can see, you can turn stuff on like water parallax or water fog density. Now you can turn on the post-processing settings, which most people actually have. Like things like motion blur, you might want to turn off since most people don't actually like motion blur in game. Now you can also click on anti-analyzing and it goes into more depth about those settings as well. So it is very good. So as you can see, there are a ton more settings there. But the last setting I'll go over is atmospheric options because most people actually have this. And these are basically for the clouds. As you can see, the clouds are much bigger. So if you want to turn off blocky clouds and just have the realistic clouds going around, it would be good for that. And obviously there are much more settings that I won't go into. But as you can see, after changing all of this, it may take a little while, but I guarantee you it is worth the wait. As you can see, it looks much better, and I would recommend you actually change the performance to actually run pretty well. I'd recommend if you're trying to go for the best options, try to keep it at least above 60 frames per second if you actually can handle that. Also, one more thing to add, as you can see, these blocks are not changing at all, even with my shader pack. So what you're going to want to do with that is go back into options, go to video settings, and then you're actually going to want to change the settings on your Optifine. Now this would be in details, and as you can see, there are some blocks that you want to change. So alternative blocks, you want to turn that on. You might want to also turn on rain and snow, and there is much more stuff like alternative blocks as well that you have to actually turn on to actually see them. So like this, custom sky, custom fonts, all this you would have to turn on if you actually want them to change. So make sure to do that, and obviously atmospheric filtering, and all of this stuff has to be changed within Optifine for you to actually see it. But as you can see, with all the settings on, if we go into one of the caves, and this is with RTX on, as you can see, we can light up stuff like redstone blocks, or these lapis blocks, which look really good, especially within the 1.18 update. And obviously change it to as much settings as you want, because as you can see, I'm actually getting decent FPS. Now this is not over 60, but it is actually decent for all of the settings that I actually have on. Now obviously change the settings to your system performance to make it as good as you can possibly do it. But obviously compromise with quality and performance, because you obviously can't have both at the best they can be. So make sure that you're still getting quality, but also getting performance as well. And remember that Optifine actually has a ton of performance settings that you can change to make your game run a lot better. So just remember to keep on editing that stuff and editing your shader settings as well, and it will look great. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed or learned something from this. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.